Okay, there we go. Isn't that beautiful? People tell you have to sleep, and it's normal. That's what the universe has given us. And yet, the animal aspect of who we are as a human being, some human being had to stay up all night every night to map the star system, to go against the natural processes. Who are those people? To stay on their feet during the daytime. When you were off your feet, stay on their feet at night. When you were off your feet at night, the opposing factor. Wow, isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful? So how do you reach, you see what I'm talking about? When you go into that black hole, you put everything at risk. Everything changes, you travel. So when you go into that black hole for those teachings, don't get excited when you learn one aspect of it. There's several liberal arts to these things. So the teaching, if you're talking about astrological learning and you said in the daytime and read about it, then you really don't, you're not getting the real deal. Because you're supposed to experience it totally, 360, all the way around. Because there's an optic nerve behind you. And when there's enough pressure on you from what you've been doing in the daytime, guess what it's going to create? A cloud in your eye. They're going to call it a cataract. You see? If the pressure from what you're doing every day is too much for you, because you decided that that's what it is, you're not going to see things properly. Because that's what going out in space does to the optic nerve in the back of the head. And NASA showed that, and I shared that with you all. You all can go and see it on this page. NASA showed that when they go out in space, the pressure from the optic nerve, when they go out there, it creates a light cloud in the eye. It makes them nearsighted. But modern day medicine, calls it a cataract. So I don't want to be a modern day messiah. If what? Because if I do what? I'll think I'm a medical doctor and give you the wrong information and tell you to go and have surgery. But what? You're looking up too quick. You see, you're looking up too fast. You're supposed to listen to total ancestor recall. So I'm listening, I'm learning. I'm not a modern day messiah. I have a lot more learning to do, and I'm learning that by paying attention to other people, and there's some white folks that did that research. But it's the universe that gave it to us. Our ancestors knew about it, had already taught this, knew this, because the bats can change direction at any time with his skin. With his skin, and his little hands on his skin connected to his hands. It can change direction at any moment. Coming forth by day and by night, at any time, it can change itself, change direction no matter what's going on with it. It has to stop what it's doing, feed itself nutritionally, receive some light. Because you're going to right yourself when you go back under that pressure. And when you shit out, it's going to be what? The most nutritious manure on the planet. Sharing that. Yes, there you go. So now, that's what I'm doing. Right here, right now. In the darkness, I'm under a lot of pressure. This is some precious pressure I'm under. Super duper pressure. Is it not? Yes, it is. So, I'm going to call some names out. Because, again, I use wisdom of old people, of old ancestors, the humming, the hovering that we do, the rocking chairman, the rocking, this rock that we on, this rock, this mirror, this me, we fashioned something out of it. So sitting in this rocking chair, as old folks do, humming, as a hummingbird does, the vibratory rate, the highest speed that we can use, the most nutritional thing that we have under all this pressure. This is lots of pressure, murdering and killing, taking lives. That's super duper pressure. So we're going to touch the bars of the earth, not the prison bars. That's how you miss the prison bars, by listening to that humming, that vibratory sound, because it's going to get there fast enough. If you listen, you'll get it. What? Through the what? Blink of an eye. It moves just that fast. That's what's going on. So, and that's what that Flash Boys talked about, how he came up with that name of his book, he asked his children what they're going to call, because he told his children that rich people were stealing money from poor people. And the children said, what? Rich people are stealing money from poor people? That's not right. He said, what you going to do about it? He said, I don't know. He said, we're going to try to take it back. He said, well, yeah. And the children said, yeah. Like Robin Hood. You should call it Flash Boys. His children told him that. Michael Lewis, his children told him to call the book Flash Boys, High Frequency Trading, because the children could not believe that rich people are stealing money from poor people. And I'll show that video. I think I did press it already and showed that. So that's a very precious thing out of the mouth of babes. We hear that coming again. Out of childish look at things, because that's what he did. He took a risk. We would say it's childish to look at Wall Street and think that they don't know what they're talking about. They say, man, you stupid, but these people got degrees in math. They doing, it sounds like some child that would do some shit like that. And yet it was the most profound thing that he could have done. And he came up with algorithms and all of that. So in that, speed off your feet, on your back, right? And the degradation that we went through, our ancestors picking cotton, which is the cannabis, which is the best thing. And in this country, the Indians took the credit for the cannabis weed growing when it was our ancestors. Like in Swaziland, the cannabis grows. And it grows so well, so potent, because it has a lot of iron in it, a whole lot of iron. And iron is oxygen to the brain, which draws all the minerals into it. That's what iron does, right? Electromagnetic, yes, in Swaziland. Those are the same people that won the war against the British because they knew what they were going to do before they did it. Yes, do we have all that information? Yes. So we have to use that in all times, not just modern times, but in all times. So come on to me, I'm going to reveal all things to you. All right then. So reaping, we get to say these things. How do I bring in people to listen to what I'm saying? Well, off your feet or on your back, off your back, either way, our ancestors were picking cotton, and some of them were, a lot of them were on their back on the slave ships, had their feet prostrated out in the same way, they were on their back looking up, laying on their back, they were on the slave ships. And you see the information that finally reached us because they was looking up on the whole trip. They had them laid out on their back, but yet the star system was guiding them till now we can reach them. The true African black people now, because something that they did that the universe had to teach them that lesson. So now we can use that lesson that taught them that lesson, something they didn't do correct. Because the universe, people try to blame God. What was God? Yeah, well, challenge God all you want to. Challenge yourself first, and God's going to give you the answer. So, yeah, judge me. I challenge myself. I'm the judge and jury. So, being the judge and the jury, I was being patient enough to listen to the creation process and said, oh, look at the positioning they were in, where they were laying on their backs. So the star system is reaching them. And it takes millions of light years for that light to reach us. So people wanted to answer right, where was God? Where was God? Being impatient, being that flower, which is impatience. And where do impatience grow? In the shade. In the shade, not in the sun. So when you're in the shade, you don't get the answer as fast. So impatience, impatience are good for shade-loving flowers. They're beautiful flowers, but they only grow in the shade. All right? So when you're listening to what's in the dark, either way you can look at it. You should be guided by the star system, because when you were in the sun, you didn't listen to that. So you had to go back into the darkness again on that slave ship and look up at that answer, the ultimate answer, but you had to be taken through this slave thing all over again. You see, the gift in that. And I'm using these things, I'm saying these things now, challenging myself. People say this sounds crazy, but you're coming forth by day and by night, right? We were looking up the whole time, the whole 3 months. That seasonal change strange. 3 months is the whole season. And the season, the hurricane season, or the season for which the brightest stars can be seen, or any stars in heaven can be seen, they looked up. The prayers were answered. The light speed information, it took us, what, how many years? 400 years to get this answer today? And I'm so, It's magnificent answers. It's magic. The exchange of energy. Look what happens. And look how powerful we are now. And look what's going on with us right now, at this very time. Okay? So the slave ship, so like I said, we're not slaves ever. The people who owned the slave ships were the slave mentality people. And the people who were in bondage were the light beings, being taught the lesson, having to go to the rites of passage. Since they didn't want it at home, so they had to be taken, moved away from home and taught the lesson here, so that we may be able to learn it here as well. So we can get it, what? Helium rise, light speed, decaying radioactive matter, minerals on Earth, mixing in with the natural gases, eventually going out of space. Because what? High-pitched people with high-pitched voices have been our most magnificent people. George Washington Carver, with his balls cut off, had a high-pitched voice. Michael Jackson, who had a high-pitched voice, had his balls cut off, so to speak, because they said he had all those surgeries and all that. You see? Was cut because he didn't love himself. You see? High-pitched voices was some of our most magnificent people. He was one of the greatest entertainers and dancers, had some of the most powerful money, owned most of the stuff that these white folks own in Hollywood, their music, all of that. You see? Can we relate to that? Are we still relating to these things that are going on in our lives? The high-pitched speed, the high speed, there it is again. Are y'all with me? The high-pitched voices, Prince, all these people, the Bee Gees, all these people with these high-pitched voices, the high-pitched sounds, okay? Going at high speeds. And I just showed the video how they reached what? Light speed, Mach, when people making mockery of things. But Mach speed was reached. Was it not? Yes, it was during our times. Are we there? That speed is in there. These things are going on. So, yeah, use this at this time so we can make these changes at this time, because what, life and death, these people are murdering and killing us using war and all these things, trying to hide, go on the ground and just rock the vibration that is there, the vibration that they're using. They stole it on Wall Street from their own people, from their own kind. Ain't no more secrets, yes. So let's deal with that on that level.